everyone, welcome to the ED show and thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the support you've been giving us. If you're a brand new viewer, please help us by liking and subscribing. Just wanted to show you a different perspective. We've had Minister Emoven on our show before. We consider her a friend of the channel and she has a different perspective. We're going to put the links to her website and her YouTube channel. And I wanted to show you a clip on how she dealt with Lancashire Police on freeing up and taking your sovereignty back. And that's really worth researching and paying attention to. So I'll share that with you now.
To line a minute. I'm just gonna put my earphones in. Hold a second. Okay.
No problem.
Okay, so you've had a problem with who?
Basically, I've come across a male. I don't know his name. He's presented himself as called Minister Emoven.
Yeah.
He's basically driving around in a vehicle that has no valid insurance that we believe, and the vehicle wasn't registered on our systems, on the police constabulary systems. It was registration ULCT 944, if I recall. We brought him through to custody because obviously there's a legal requirement to provide a police officer with details in terms of name, address and date of birth, etc., just so that we can establish that there's no offences in terms of driving without insurance or licence and things. And this male's quite adamant that he's not providing us with any further details other than the documentation that he has provided, which has brought me to a bit of a predicament now because we're currently in a situation where we're obviously stuck with regards to who this chap is. I've just had a look on Google in relation to the Universal Law Communities Trust, which is something that's very new to myself, and all the documentation that he provided me had this is on the letterhead, if you will. And I'm just wondering, really, are you guys aware of who this male might be, or do you know of the registration of that vehicle,
yes.
Or are you able to assist in any sort of way?
ULCT 944 is one of our private conveyances, and the Minister Emoven who you have there is recorded inside our rolls. What is it that you require?
Well, the problem, as I say, standard practice from my side of things, I know that my vehicle registration is registered with the Motor Insurance Bureau and DVLA, and obviously I have to pay insurance on that vehicle.
Right.
Due to the fact that I've not been able to establish that that's the case with this vehicle, as it stands at the moment, I've sadly had to arrest this male to ascertain his details and find out when he obviously has legitimate insurance for his vehicle, driving licence for the vehicle.
Like you said, obviously this information hasn't been filtered down. We are the secured party creditors of HM Government who have or did licence the local police officers to act on their behalf as their private corporation. We are their secured party creditors and we've been that since February. All of the registration documents are held under non-disclosure. We will obviously provide any legal documents such as driving licenses or insurance on proof of valid claim that conveyance was being used for commercial activities. So can you tell me what commerce was that man committing?
What commerce? I'll be honest with you, you've lost me a little bit there.
Okay.
In relation to the usage of the vehicle, he was driving down a public highway.
Okay, let me just stop you there.
Oh.
It only becomes a vehicle if it has got DVL plates on there. And what we've actually done is the VIN number is actually what he has the right of use of, and that is what's assigned to the trust. Now, our records here show that, yes, he has got an indemnity cover to cover him for any accident or harm, loss or damage that he causes anybody else, unless he's committing commerce, i.e. he's a taxi or he's for hire or rent, or that it's a bus or a lorry. Is the conveyance that you're calling a vehicle does it fit any of those descriptions? And is he being paid to be conveying himself in that conveyance?
No.
Right. Okay. So, I'm looking at the record here. He has got all of those things that you would require if he was in commerce. Okay. And so in order for me to release the information to you guys, you're acting under legislation which is applicable only to commercial vehicles or legal fictions, companies, corporations. And by us doing what we've done, we're reserving all of the rights of the people from being presumed to be in commerce.
Okay. So that still leaves me in a bit of a predicament, though. Because at the moment I've got a chap in his mid-60s that's currently sat in a police cell. Mm-hmm. Because obviously there are certain laws that we need to abide by.
The law, right, okay, so the law is that it's actually against the law to coerce somebody to commit an act of fraud. Now, what you're actually asking him to do, you want him to identify himself with the documentation that I've got here that's reserved under a non-disclosure unless he is committing commerce. Now, if he is committing commerce, then I'm more than happy to release this information to you. But as you've just stated, he's not committing commerce. So really, I mean, I know it's a bit of a shock for you guys, but it's you guys that are actually breaking the law by coercing him into committing fraud, because the legal fiction that you want him to use is actually a copyrighted logo belonging to Crown Corporation.
Okay.
Now, if this goes any further, then obviously you'll keep him for 72 hours, obviously, if you can. Not that there's any point in doing so, because it's just going to cost your private corporation that's registered in the company's house as a private corporation with a tax reference number, and we're actually your secured party creditors. So what you're actually doing is a double whammy, because you're trying to get him to claim against himself. Now, you know yourself, if I haven't got the right of use of something and I use it, I'm twocking in the least, aren't I? I'm taking without consent, or it's attempted theft or theft.
Okay.
Now, imagine that your name, that legal fiction, is a copyrighted logo and you haven't got the right of use of it. So we contacted HM Government and the Home Office and said, has anybody got the right of use of a legal fiction in the capitalised form of the given name? And they said no. If you look at the birth certificate, it's got Crown copyright on the bottom of it. And it says not to be used for ID. Now, at the moment, I didn't get your number. What was your name again?
My name? Yeah. I don't know whether I want to tell you now. Yeah, my name is Lee Butterworth.
Lee Butterworth. I mean, it's not... We're trying to help the people of the country, you know, to establish their rights and to get rid of this administrative system that has been professing to be law. Legal isn't lawful if it causes us to break the law. And because, like I said, the Home Office have said that we haven't got a right of use of anything that's Crown copyright, then you actually trying to coerce him into using something that's been copyrighted by the Crown, because that's all you can recognise, in order for you to actually, what you're actually doing is you're prosecuting him for using something that's not his.
Okay.
So,
very interesting. So where do we stand with this chap then? Because unfortunately, like you say, we're not in a position to where we can release him from custody until we can establish whether he has got a valid insurance or a valid driving licence and stuff.
He has. I mean, he has. He only needs a driving licence if, like I say, he's in commerce, if he's driving a vehicle. So the words driving, if you look at the Black's Law Dictionary and any law dictionary, it is actually a commercial definition. Vehicle is also a commercial definition. To use a conveyance, on the other hand, is in your private capacity, which is why he's got those number plates on. If he put the DVL plates on there, he would be implying that he was in commerce, and that would be contract with the system that you unfortunately are calling the law, which is actually legal civil code, and it's commercial code. Now, the situation is at the moment, Lee, is that our counterclaim would be against you for false claim, abduction, and coercing somebody to commit fraud, which is 7 years. If you are wearing a uniform and you attempt to force somebody to identify themselves, you're actually guilty or immediately of statutory rape. And this is actually in your police...
Statutory rape?
Statutory rape. You're attempting to rape him of his universal rights by getting him to diminish himself into being and joindering as a non-entity, as a legal fiction.
Right, okay.
So
I think I'm going to have to have a chat with my sergeant and my inspector, and we'll try and establish where we need to go with this.
Okay, he is under...
Are you happy to be recontacted if need be?
Of course. I'm the trustee of his trust. And so he's done the right thing giving you the number. And like I say, if it can be proved that he is committing commerce, I'm more than happy to release those documents to you. But I do need proof of claim.
Okay, right. Leave that with me if you don't mind. I've obviously got a contact number to be able to give you a call back if need be.
Okay.
And we'll try and see where we need to go.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you for your time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
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 Yeah, so quite literally, it was a case of great minds. Last night, I did the AI robot sort of episode for us to sort of look and observe what can be achieved through these AI bots. And I do think it's one of them things that, you know, we've learned to live with certain technologies that were once feared and once dangerous. Now in everyday life, and one of the ones that I can use as an example of that could be the microwave oven. You know, I remember our first microwave back in the 80s, which was a big deal in the house, and you know, being able to use it. And you know, I remember my great nan saying, "Oh, radiation," and she was quite neurotic, and you know, she sort of said about all that. And I quite remember that conversation, you know, sort of coming out, you know, people seriously talking about it, you know, being a big danger. And every home has got one. I'm not saying that a microwave can't be dangerous and the radiation can't be dangerous, but it's something we've learned to live with. On that, though, I came across something that Kerry Cassidy did yesterday on these bots, and she did a great interview. And the guy she was doing an interview with has got intelligence in Area 51 and things like that. And what I noticed with him and what he spoke about, which was quite, you know, bang on the money for me, so do check it out. He said about the IQ levels of some of the great people he's worked with, and trust me, this guy is, you know, he, with regards to science and Area 51, he stacks up and all of that. You know, he's been there, done it. You know, however, he was saying about these people that he used to meet up with that, you know, had IQs of 300, you know, and things like that. These AI bots can have IQs of like 1 million and stuff like that. The only thing they can't do is human empathy, you know, but they can learn about it and stuff like that. And you just think to yourself, wow, where are we going with all this? When's all this going to end? What is this, and where are they taking us? One of the interesting things, this could be a bit of humor, I don't know, but I'll just put it to people in Britain anyway, because I know that we've got lots of support in America, and I thank our American brothers and sisters, same as I thank anybody from Britain that supports this channel. But One of the ones that I think is quite interesting, who could be a bot, it definitely looks like a bot, and I won't use the full name, is Chris Whitty, but I'd rather call him Chris Shitty. You watched the Sophia video yesterday and watch him, and it's just, non-human, no expressions. What they put in the public arena, in terms of technology, what they can do and what we get is two different things. I'm not saying he is a bot, I'm not going down the conspiracy route, but I don't know, he's definitely something. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide what he is. Date is the 6th today, a very important day in Parliament history. It's the date of the Epiphany. It's funny that how everything's done on dates. I'm going to quote you from Mark Devlin's channel, who's a brilliant truth seeker. I'll put his link below. Basically, the long and short of it, he's tied up what's been going on to specific links, as in the equinox, winter solstice, summer solstice, Halloween, 5th of November. If you look back to all the lockdowns and major announcements, they've been done on all these dates. That is quite significant. There are other countries around the world that are also suffering, like the UK, where freedoms have been taken down, such as Norway, etc., and places like that, that have also had freedoms taken away and severe lockdowns in place as of these special dates. So it seems to be a worldwide thing, and it seems to be on these specific dates, which you've got to ask yourself a question. I'm not saying there isn't a pandemic. I'm not saying, there isn't any virus. But what I am saying is how come small businesses are affected and you've got large businesses like Tesco's that we can walk around as free as we want to be? And how is it that, if we are in such a severe time, how is it that every country in the world, we've all got different ONS data and all got different countries, and every country is unique, but why are we all on lockdowns at the same time? You've got to ask these prevalent questions when there's so much at stake. Being as there's so much at stake, we need to support America. It's going to be streaming today from 6 p.m. on YouTube, and I don't think the mainstream are going to cover it. So just check out what's going on in Washington, D.C. And, we haven't got long till the 20th of January to see who is actually sworn in to be president. I don't make no bones about it. I am a Trump supporter, and I will be supporting President Trump. And there's also been some information that's sort of come. I'd advise you to go and check on Simon Park's show in terms of what's really going on. And I'll put the links to that below as well, so that if anybody wants to check his information out and his truth and everything he speaks about, Simon does appear to be a reliable source, who's somebody I've always followed. Same as Mark Devlin, so I'm quite happy to put the links below for anyone to sort of check out and see what they have to say. Thank you very much, and hope to see you guys soon.